Consider. Assess. Implore. Surrender.
Subdued at last, it begs for its life.
Spare me. Join me. Wield me. Become absolute.
It pleads because it knows I am its master. I will finish this.
The brain is on the cusp of its final thought, and it's taking all of the Emperor's strength to keep it there. An opportunity, perhaps.
Must obey. I must end.
Hopes, nightmares, and the screams of legions upon legions of unborn lipids. The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Your tadpole burns in your brain. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And then, gravity. Everything you did, everything you sacrificed, it was worth it. For this.
No, Boo. This moment is for savoring. There will be tadpoles to snack on later.
My powers, they're draining. Just like Mizora said they would. A small price to pay in the grand scheme of things.
Boo did not doubt us for a moment. Not during any of our many failures.
I can't feel the tadpole. They must have all died with the brain. That means we can't turn into mind flayers. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with being a mind flayer, of course.
It makes little difference to me. I did what I had to secure my freedom. And in spite of your resistance to evolution, you have proved a good ally. I'm glad you think so. I did my best.
Skvar, you may have succeeded, but I have failed. Gith's son is dead, and Vlaakith has abandoned me. I will be hunted by her Inquisition to the ends of the world. I must leave. I have nothing more to gain by being here. You, my ally, my peer. It will be a restless life while the false queen reigns over my people. But a life nonetheless, and a free one. Yes, I will stay. My destiny is for neither Vlaakith nor Orpheus to decree. It is mine. We fought well together. I will gladly fight with you again. If not the astral seas, then here, and wherever else we go.
The Githyanki are leaving. It would have been hard to imagine parting ways from them peacefully once.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city. Smouldering, waiting to be rebuilt. But it seems that Gale's mind is elsewhere.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Chiontha. If I salvage the stones, I can reforge it. With the crown in my hands, I would be unstoppable. The casts I weave would be mine to command. I would be more than the greatest wizard who ever lived. I would be a god. Want, need, deserve. Choose whatever word you prefer. But it is what I'm going to do. Mistra has dictated the terms of my potential for long enough. The crown would grant me control of my own destiny at last. Think of all I could achieve. All that I could grant to those whose ambitions are restrained by Mistra's yoke. I could raise a new Netheril, right here in Faerun. It's I who should be saying such things. Do not think I leave you without a heart as heavy as your own. But I owe it to myself to follow where destiny leads. I'll never forget you. That I promise. If you ever felt differently, there'll be a place waiting for you in the heavens.
And all to impress a former lover. Gale should do as Minsk did and stop at the face tattoo. Mistra no longer wishes to share his bed. Boo doubts she will wish to share the mastery of all magic with him instead. But let the wizard wet his robes in the river, if that is his wish.
What comes now? I cannot remember the last time we did not have a grand purpose to work towards.
I much prefer bloodletting to bricklaying. Hunt prey with me by night, and I will build with you by day.
I will not be joining you. I fear my presence will be no more welcome in the streets of the city than it ever was.
No, Boo, I will not miss the illithid. That is but manful sweat in my eye.
I will miss you, too.
Now that you no longer live in each other's minds, it's hard to tell if the mind flayer is being sincere, though perhaps no harder than it ever was.
I honestly don't mind what we do once we get to the... Ow! What the... Oh, no. Oh, God. Well, it was nice when it lasted. Ah! I'm sorry. I have to go.
We will find you, Astarion. And Boo will bring a sunflower!
We did it, soldier. The city's going to be all right. And so are you. Engine's finally cooked. Held on just long enough. So, how'd I do? So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. It's the one thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid empire, no death god's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate. Six months have passed since you defeated the Netherbrain. And since then, you have seen more of life than you ever thought possible. You are greeted as a savior, a champion, a hero. But sometimes you feel like something else entirely. An adventurer, a traveler, a survivor. You faced down the gods. You thwarted the grand design. Anything seems possible. But before you can write the next chapter of your story, you must end this one.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
There you are. Keeping us all on tenterhooks so you could make a dramatic entrance.
There's something strange in your old friend's mouth. What is it? A familiar invitation. He wants you to throw the object he's dropped. But it isn't a ball. It's the astral prism. Scratch barks merrily in something like agreement. He whines. Less talk, more throw.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up. What can I say? We shared something extraordinary, even if we didn't always see eye to eye. Oh, come here, will you? You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it? I suppose I do, don't I? I'm glad you seem well. Truly. Wandering, mostly. The adventuring life is almost a tonic when you're not constantly threatened by brain monsters and cultists. I can finally see the world beyond the cloister. I like to think so. Choosing my own path is still something of a novelty for me, but at least I'm free to make my own mistakes. One of my first stops was the House of the Moon in Waterdeep. It's the largest temple of Selûne in existence. It seemed like the perfect spot to reflect on my parents, on where they came from. And where I came from too, I suppose. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Me, of all people, in the lair of the Moon Witch herself. God, your truest act of heroism was putting up with all that char and drivel I was spouting for so long. Oh, I know they are. I can still sense them, I think. And one day we'll be reunited. I don't know. Which is just the way I like it just now. Perhaps I'll just stick a pin in a map and see what I find, or head to the docks in the morning and scrounge a boat. I'd like to see the islands, maybe, or head south to Arm. I heard there's an enclave of werecats that hunt the followers of dark gods by moonlight. I'd love to see if there's any truth to that. But enough about me. What have you been up to? Don't be a stranger.
Goodness. Was Faerun always so dull? Still, at least the company was worth the trip, if not the view. I told you I would, didn't I? I imagine you're wondering how all this came to be. The finer points of divine ascension are beyond mortal comprehension, I'm afraid, but I can provide a rudimentary sequence of events. First, I retrieved the crown of Karsus and reforged it using a series of precise and highly complex Netherese incantations. Then, I used it. As you know, the orb within me was the half-formed Karsite Weaver, magic left incomplete by Karsus' self-destruction. I finished it. Using the crown of Karsus, I turned it into a new form of magic, fused with my being, driven by my purpose. And then I put it to work. As expected, Mystra was unwilling to hand over the reins of the weave, so I've claimed dominion over another area which I've passing familiarity. Ambition. I offer them nothing. I inspire them to seize their destinies for themselves. Great as the heights I've reached thus far may be, I've not forgotten my humble origins. In fact, they're central to my doctrine. Those drawn to the Galarian Creator merely seek my guidance as the impressive, all-powerful being I've become. Ambition is about beginnings. It's not just about the heights, but the lows that preceded them. I was nothing. A Drifting dust mote of a wizard, abandoned by my goddess, my powers lost, my reputation destroyed. And look at me now. I'm their proof. Proof their hopes are not barren wastes, but the loamy soil in which their future achievements will flourish. Proof that with ambition, anything is possible. You see? Now you're realizing your true potential. You, and many more by the day. There are already several shrines in my honor scattered across the outer reaches of Thay, and rumors of a very prominent temple under construction in Arm. This is only the beginning. I thought you would be. Now, divine as my company undoubtedly is, I have an eternity to catch up with you. Don't let me deprive them of your... It's not every day a newborn god shows up to the reunion. Something of the sheen of Elysium.
Well, there he is, the god of ambition. Have you ever heard? Not in the least. You were looking out for him. I expected better of you. Then you're just as mad. I know there's nothing you could have done to stop him. Not really. Once he'd decided to learn nothing from his mistakes, what use were either of our protests? Perhaps you'd be willing to come meet Gale's mother sometime? She misses him so. And I know it would do her heart a world of good. Jolly good. Enjoy your party, dear.
Well now, you can make yourself presentable when you have a mind to. Ah, how nice to be understood again. I have spent the same twisting alleys for purse pickers, same wooden buildings ready to get burnt by next year's dragon, same cisterns overflowing. Baldurians simply get on with it. Harpers have come from half the world over to lend it. My own son, Jord, has been wooed to their ranks. Already. Not so for my daughter. Ryan's rejoined the Flaming Fist. Temporarily, you understand. Though she spends more time locking up comrades for pocketing 8 vands. They might learn a thing or two if they don't expel her. Again. I suppose I may have little love for this city, but so long as my family chooses to serve it, I can do no less. You want to join me? There is, Now, before this, I must inspect the refreshments. You'll never know.
A most welcome sight. Old friend, I thought slaying Vlaakith's hunters in the cliffs of Sword's Teeth might, but I was wrong. Being right here. Were it not for you, I might not have known the value of partnership, connection. I found new allies now. We've heard word of a Githyanki outpost hidden deep in Chult, the last of Vlaakith's sword coasts. We mean to slay every last Sarth and Kithrak. I thought perhaps you'd care to join us. You always did have a great fire in your belly. Now go. Mingle while you can. There is plenty of time yet for slice.
A reflex when I clap eyes on something.
You would think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more. We have all pined for each other's company, I sense. I cannot imagine. That bond was forged in a crucible that can never be stoked again, Oak Father willing. It is a bond that can weather any distance. I know it can. For I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day. Well, I am not normally given to imbibing, but this is a special occasion, and even the most ascetic of nature's servants would be tempted by such an elixir. But now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing. In the old masonry of Moonrise Tower, it is. We welcome folk from all walks of life. Now, they have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake. I am all ears. Though I never cared for that phrase. I shall. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening. They ask. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of God. Before you go, I have something for you. Yet, just a token to remember me by.
Comfort. Warmth. I don't understand it, but I will accept.
Why are you looking at me so?
Ah, our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite... Oh, you might help me with the title, though. Me. It's all Volo's for... Perhaps... Ah, your success really has... But you might...
There you are.
Your relief, your projection holds. Took a dozen Gish's talents, a few stolen you can the gifts should the gift.
What's the word on the rebellion? I presume you've cracked open more Kithraki heads. My own rebuilt bargain. Father, still not a devil of the first hell. I've heard the patriot. Still, there's no friction that can't be Greek. Go on, all wasted.
Boo! We are not dreaming! It is our old friend! Oh, and it is good to be seen. Oh, after so many days down in the dark, Minsk began to wonder if he was some blind bug who had only dreamed himself to be large and bulksome. You will forgive the aroma, I hope. We were not expecting the Dusty One to open a portal to our very cell. Boo had a moment to lick himself clean, but there is a little too much of Minsk to cover. Minsk and Boo have been helping, of course. We guard the streets, while Jahira is occupied with harperish matters. The Zentarum rule the city's underbelly, so Minsk and Boo went to give them a tickle. There were harsh words, battle cries, some manner of head wound. We awoke in a Zentish cell, awaiting trial by noble combat. Execution, says Boo, though I am not sure of the difference. It is a long walk to the gallows, and Minsk still has his fists, no? The Zent may keep their peace, so long as Minsk may keep his steel. We shall see which is the first to shatter, But leave such matters for the morn. Tonight is for celebration and the telling of tales. How have you filled your days since we tore this sticky tyrant from the sky? Without tadpoles, Boo. Forgive my hamster squirrelishness. He has developed something of a taste for tadpole, and is displeased by the diet I have placed him on. But no better cure than the company of friends. There is much merriment to be made before the night is done. Go, and greet the others. Minsk shall make himself presentable. Ah, this pond shall do nicely, Boo. Though I see no soap. So you shall have to blow the bubbles for me.
Well, I wasn't sure our withered old friend could live up to... And you're looking more delicious than... Whatever you've been doing with your time, it clearly worked wonders. Ah, so it's the healthy glow you get from being good But I'm glad to see the world has treated you well. You've earned... And where better to celebrate our good fortune? An old haunt. Cheeky. I've been very well behaved. I've taken a turn as an adventurer and hero. It turns out no one actually cares about murder, as long as you murder the right people. And apparently I'm rather good at it. Let's not get carried away, darling. I'm still me. Perhaps more me than I've ever been. I did at first. But then I realized, these shadows, this darkness, it's all a part of me. I spent too long defined by what other people did to me, the choices other people made for me. This is who I am. In all my... That being said, I haven't completely given up on returning to the sun. If you're... But until then, we've had quite the journey. From the moment I first threatened you, I knew you were someone special. I will miss our time together. But then again, see you later.
Thou feelst it still. She is not here. She who was the boldest. Hast thy thoughts been with brave Karlach often? She would not come. Correct. Not in planes material, elemental, nor transitive can her like be found. In but 10 days, an entire life was lived. More than mortal years. Mortal centuries were hers. Thy band, thy bond, gave that life to her. Not like thou wert her kin. It was written in her heart. Surely thou knowest that. In the fugue plane, her soul burns so bright, it pains the gods to look upon. Recall that in time, all changeth and all is rejoined. Thou shalt be with her again. What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. the balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.